Shit, here we go again.
Hey, it's Victoria, and you are now listening to the Pass Rush Podcast with your host, DJ Clennon.
What's up, it's your boy DJ Clennon, the host of the Pass Rush Podcast. You guys already know. Before we get started today about talking about Colorado versus UCLA, go ahead and sack the like button, sack the subscribe button, sack everything. You know here, we sack everything. But, man, here we go again. With Colorado, it's rough. It is really rough. To really dive into all the points, I really just want to break it all down like we usually do. So just going over just the game itself. UCLA, they didn't do anything spectacular on offense. They just capitalized on Colorado not capitalizing on their mistakes. So they hung in there long enough to break through. Now, with the defense played well, 4 turnovers. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better than that for Colorado's defense. But the offense just didn't take advantage of any of those wins that the defense had. Now, UCLA's defense is probably one of the best defenses I've watched this year. Outside of Arizona State, I think they played a really sound team football game against Colorado. But just overall, from all college football that I've been able to see this year, you got good defenses like Georgia. Alabama's defense plays pretty well. And then James Madison's defense is really well. But UCLA, Lato, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. I do apologize for that. But he's definitely top 10 pick. What I've seen from him is pass rushing with getting 4 to 5 sacks yesterday. Really, I think a few of them were half sacks. So he really probably only got registered for 4. But I have the stats up there. I seen so many great things from him. He made the Murphy twins for UCLA play better. And the crazy thing is the UCLA Murphy twins came from North Texas. Wasn't getting a lot of love there. Left North Texas and went over to UCLA and just blew up. They have a personal vendetta against Shedeur. I didn't mind any of the chippiness. I know other people might have found like, oh man, they're getting under his skin. But as a defensive player, I mean, they did everything that I did as a player as well. So what I see from the Murphy twins and Latu and the things that they did to Shedeur to get him off his game, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what football is about to me. Now, just breaking down Colorado's performance as a entire, scope here. Quarterback play, I think Shedeur did well with what he was given. They started off hot, getting the ball out quick. But the thing about that is a double-edged sword. Like, when you're getting the ball out quick and you're getting those 15-yard, on 5-yard, 15-yard, 10-yard a pop, it leaves more room for mistakes because you might have a fumble or you might drop the ball. But you also do that on offense to potentially down the line get them to bait on that so you can hit them down deep, which they did once with Weaver. Just once, though. Once that was able to work. But the time that he had the offensive line, man, that offensive line, it just got to be better. And, I seen a lot of comments. I was talking with some people on Twitter. I seen a lot of comments where people want to kind of say like, oh, you could just coach them to be better. No, you cannot. At this point in time, what we're seeing, that's uncoachable. You can drop any scheme in the world as a coach. You can drop any scheme you want. But if the offensive line is not going to put in any effort, you cannot coach effort. That's the number one thing every football player has ever heard. At some point in their career, you cannot coach effort.
This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
You cannot coach speed. Those two things you cannot coach. Everything else can be coached. They didn't even give any effort. They saw Shedeur getting mauled, and they didn't give out no effort. None whatsoever. And you can't coach that. You can't beg and plead over and over week to week privately. Please, you guys, just give us 2 seconds. Not even 3. Most people ask for 3. Just give us 2 seconds, and we can do something. Shedeur didn't even have that. And, some people want to talk about the press conference from Coach, saying, oh, we got to just get new offensive linemen. And, he was really direct and truthful. And it reminds me a lot of my dad. So I don't find any offense to it because that's like anybody who knows me and they know my dad, they just the same. So what Coach Prime was saying, I resonate with. Like, you know, you might not like it at the time, but he's preparing you for real life, because out there, if you at a job or anywhere else, they not finna coddle you. If you doing bad performance week after week after week, this man 8 weeks. What job you gonna get 8 weeks of bad performance, subpar performance, and they don't ridicule you to the harshest extent at some point in time? It's going to come with some serious repercussions. But these are athletes, and if they doing something wrong, it's visibly wrong. It's zero effort. It's not technique. It's not ability. It's zero effort. And you're playing at not even the highest level, but the highest level in your area that you're in college football at the Division I level. You got everything that you would want as far as food, money possibilities, the NIL, all that stuff that other people before you who had this opportunity might not have had at the time they was in college, or if they did, it was on the low. You got all of these gifts given to you for the privilege of playing the game still, and you won't even go out there and give all your effort. That's the issue. You can, like I said, you can drop any scheme you want, but the effort and the fact of the matter is they're not going out there and trying to perform. They're not going out there and trying to be better. Like, if you not playing a position that you don't like, okay, say that, because I've been on teams, and I'm sure other people have been on a team before. You have some people playing the offensive line who didn't want to play it, so they not going to get an effort for real because they really don't want to play it. Figure out what's the issue. I heard the announcer, Herbert, say he didn't see one offensive lineman on Colorado's team that could be any use for them to win a football game. Not one. He said from the starters to the backup, he don't see one that can be any use to them. And at that point in time, if everybody is saying that about you, when are you going to prove them wrong? It ain't no, let's keep going at the coaches for it. When is the player? These are almost grown men. I mean, technically grown men as far as stature and on paper, but these are about to be the grown men out here in the world. When are they gonna start holding themselves accountable? For me, Coach Prime wouldn't even have to have said nothing, because my parents would have been in my ear about my performance. If you the parents of these offensive linemen and you seeing them week after week after week giving this type of performance, and you ain't even, like, everybody should be saying something to them. It should be to the point where it's annoying. It could be happening right now, I don't know, but it should be annoying to the point where it's like you gotta look yourself in the mirror, and you might be waving them off and like, oh, I'm doing my job, but at the end, when you see yourself on film don't lie. What's really going on? Like, coach got to get with them. Figure out, do they want to play the game or not? Like, do you want to play for Colorado or you don't? Like, giving that type of effort to where you getting hit 30 times in one football game, it starts to become disrespectful from Coach Prime's standpoint, because that's also his son. It's hard to separate son and coach. A lot of people don't like coaches who got their son on the team. I've been there, like, my dad never coached me, but I've been on a team with players who had their dad as the coach, and the biases start to kick in. But in this case, the bias is that he directly attacked this offensive line, which some people find is wrong, but at the end of the day, that's his son that's getting hit. Every time my son head bouncing off that canvas, he might not get up the same, because he might get a concussion. He might get paralyzed. We saw what happened to Tua last year. You might have something like that happen. And if that's your son, at the end of the day, you can say coach, son, separate it all you want. That's your son at the end of the day. These offensive linemen ain't giving no effort. It starts to feel like you slapping me twice. Like, man, you hitting Shedeur, but you also hitting my son. Like, y'all not going to protect my son. Come on, man. What y'all going to do? And another defense that people going to say is like, oh, he brought these offensive linemen here, so it's technically his fault. He brought the offensive lineman here. The offensive line coach here. It's technically his fault. I get that. But at the end, it's not their fault at this point in time. I didn't see anything technique-wise they was doing wrong. I seen effort-wise they wasn't doing anything right. And you can't coach that. You can't coach trying to block somebody. Just please. It's the hardest position. It is. It's the hardest position. I love offensive linemen that because I would have a field day. Latu had a field day. The Murphy twins had a field day. Other defenses have had a field day. You want to play offensive linemen like that. But the thing is, as an offensive lineman, you shouldn't want to be an offensive lineman like that. Like, take some pride in your position and don't allow that many sacks. Like, sometimes it happens to people in the NFL and they get embarrassed by it because their pride is like, this is the position that's paying me, that's changing my parents' life, that's giving me an opportunity to play Division I football, and I'm not even trying. Like, I'm genuinely not even trying. And everybody's different. You know, Coach Prime has talked about this before. Everybody's different. To reach everybody is not the same. You know, you can try privately, one-on-one. Some people might get it. If you grew up with multiple people in your house, as siblings and stuff, you understand what I'm saying. All y'all can grow up in the same house, but everybody understands their discipline a different way. Somebody might need to get whooped. Somebody might just need a stare. Somebody might need just a little talking to. Something. You know, everybody clicks a different way. You got to go figure out what's clicking these offensive linemen to get them to be nasty, to play the position that's the hardest position on the field, because you got to move somebody against their will every play, all day. It's hard. That quarterback, you know, every position got this thing of being hard, but offensive lineman is hard because everybody you're going against is way better athletically than you, faster than you, but you got to still do your thing against them. I get all that. But what I don't get is the effort that they gave. Latu, if they would have gave some effort, maybe he only gets 3 sacks. The Murphy twins get they 2, but you don't get hit 30 times. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get hit 30 times. Effort would have been okay. He gets hit 15 times. That's still a lot, but it's a bad offensive line showing help, showing effort. We ain't see that. That's all I got to say about that. I'm okay with what Coach Prime said, because in his mind, if they not getting this message privately, maybe publicly it'll help them. I'm going to replace you. If you can't handle that, don't be here then. Jobs do that in the real world. It ain't fair. It ain't fun. It ain't what you want to hear, but it's the truth. And like he said, he preparing people for the truth. And I'm okay with the truth. I'm not okay with softening them up, because these men got to go on and be dads. They got to be husbands. They got to be working men in society, and they need the truth. The truth might not always be what you want, but you need it. Like, you need that wake up call. It's time to wake them up, because obviously they either gonna get what they gonna get, or they gonna have to go on, go on somewhere else. Maybe they can be really great linemen at D1 AA, D2, D3, NAIA. Maybe just Division I, not for them, and that's all cool. You know what I mean? That's all cool. But again, that's all I gotta say about that. You move on to the wide receiver play. You know, it is what it was. Wasn't bad. The offensive line really just made it hard on everybody for offense. You move to the defensive side. Jordan Dominic played the best game he played all year. Love what he said. It like he got amped up because Latu was getting it in. He like, shoot, I'm finna get it in too, because I should be on that NFL caliber. I think Jordan Dominic, from the effort that he's shown, he's moved up to maybe a 3rd, 4th round pick to definitely a 2nd to 3rd round pick. If he has a few more games like that, he can move up to 1st or 2nd round pick on the draft boards. Latu, again, easily top 5, top 10 effort. That him and Muhammad, I think, are the best defensive players I've seen play against Colorado. That just is what it is. When you move over to Shiloh's hit and what happened to the defense, Shiloh's hit, I'm 100% okay with it. Y'all know that. You know me. If you watch any of my videos, you know I'm cool with all that, because I get down with that. I had a small argument with a dude who had 1 follower on Twitter. I ain't feel like arguing with him for real. That he thought the hit was bad because the helmet hit right under the chin. That's easy disqualification, yada, yada, yada. I don't care about none of that. The hit was clean. He led with his shoulder. A lot of other people feel the same way who played the position and played the game at the highest level you can possibly play it. I know I ain't tripping. It's hard to try to hit somebody with your shoulder and your head not be involved. You can hit anything with your shoulder and your head gonna go with it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You coming full speed. I think what really got him out, which I said, is the celebration part. Him doing that in the camera, to the ref, while the ref looking at him, he ain't stop. 7 was coming up, trying to tap him on the shoulder like, bro, chill. He ain't want to chill. He still flexing. We gonna get him out the game. It was like 3 controversial calls in the whole game. The one-hand catch, which Coach Prime had a problem with, I thought that really was a catch. I mean, when they zoomed it in, it really was a catch. That intentional grounding call on Shedeur, Crazy. The ball literally bounced off the dude's head, and they still said that's intentional grounding. Like, at that point, it hit the other player. Those refs, they're going to end up writing an I'm sorry letter, you know, that refs got to write or whatever, because they kind of messed up some calls. All of those calls, they got 33% correct. The other 66% was wrong. So, that's that. Shallow coming out the game, kind of opened the game up. I mean, I feel like if he still would have played, maybe they scored one touchdown. But, I mean, that bomb after halftime would have probably still happened. The scoring on the next play after that, I don't know if that would have happened. But Shallow really make a difference. He helped line them up. Ward came in and played hard. He played fast. I like how he played the game back there. Him and Shallow, they played the game the same. You could tell Shallow rubbed off on him because he wasn't playing like that at the beginning of the year. He playing good now. Travis Hunter, amazing comeback. Got killed against Stanford. Come back, get 2 picks. Crazy picks at that. Played perfectly, you know, within the scheme of the defense. Cool. You know, some people got problems with Coach Charles Kelly. I don't. I just feel like at some point in time, it's the players got to take some accountability. At this level, the next level is the pros. Like, you basically like half a pro right now. At this level, you got to start taking accountability on whether you know what scheme you're supposed to be in or not. And you can say everything that you want to say, but if you played, you know, some players just really just be getting in the way. They might not be aware. Okay, we in the 20. I know I'm supposed to come out. I'm playing good. I ain't coming out. Coach, I ain't coming out. I know what we at on the film. I act like I don't see nothing. Then the argument happened. Bro, get out. Nah, I ain't getting out. Bro, get out. Nah, I ain't getting out. Then somebody else run off the field because they like, bro, y'all tripping. Sometimes it's the players. Like, I've been a player. I know sometimes people just want to get in their own way. You get selfish. The problem that Colorado have is everybody hasn't bought in and been selfless. That's the issue that they have as a team. That's where the penalties come in. They had 7 penalties, lower than they usually have, but that's still a lot. I thought it was really around 4, but when the stats came out, I was like, dang, it was 7. That's still kind of high. Penalties is more of a selfish thing. Sometimes it's technique if it's a face mask or something, but it's usually a selfish thing. Like, I'm not doing what you want me to do. I ain't doing it. I'm just not doing it. And that's where the penalties come in. And in that case with the substitution penalties, people know what package they supposed to be on. They might act like they don't know, like I said last week, how you don't know. But sometimes they know and they just don't care, bro. Like, sometimes you just feel like, I just don't care. I'm supposed to come out. The example I can use here to know which team is unselfish and which one is not. Latu had that first sack. They took him out the game. He was on the sideline for most of that drive. He came back in like the last play of that first drive when they got all the way down. He came out like the second or last play of that drive when Colorado got all the way down there within the the 5-yard line, and they end up kicking the first field goal. Latu gets the first sack. He comes out. They start driving the ball, and then they put him back out there. But you ain't see him complaining. You just see him go out there the rest of the game and ball out. It was his time to come out. He might not have wanted to come out. He probably wasn't even tired because the game just started. But sometimes you just gotta trust the rotation that the coach set. You might not agree with it. You might not be vibing with it. He might be taking you out because he's seen you do something that you gotta explain to him. Okay, it really wasn't like that. You never really know what it is, but you gotta be okay with it. When the substitutions come in, it might just be your time to come out. Maybe the coach want to talk to you. Maybe you did something wrong that he want to tell you about. Maybe you lining up a little bit wrong. It could be something small. Just go out. Bro, just come off the field, bro. Just come off the field. As a player, when I was playing, it's hard to hear that because I'm vibing. I'm doing my thing. Leave me alone. But as a coach on the other end, it might be something that's going to prevent something else down the line. You see in the vision, you know what I mean? So it really just, it's just the semantics of the whole thing. But Colorado has played winnable games. Coach Prime said it as well. Oregon was the only game they really got whooped. And the crazy thing, Oregon just whooped Utah, which I ain't see coming. Oregon just whooped Utah same way to where Oregon really might be, top 6 team, given that Oklahoma just lost and stuff like that. So they played a really good team with Oregon. Like, Oregon showed they really can do what they do. But USC, ever since that sneak away, they ain't been looking good. UCLA been showing they them dogs. Washington State took a step back. Like, things are opening up. But the crazy thing is that was the only time that they're going to be in the Pac-12. They got to do something about the Pac-12 while I'm on that topic, because there's only 2 teams in the Pac-12 for next year's schedule. It's 16 to 18 teams in some of these other conferences. They got to do something. You can't have no Pac-12 with 2 teams. It's Pac-2 at that point. So they got to do something about that. But that's just what I seen from the game, man. I just wanted to give my opinion, as y'all know. Let me know in the comments down below. But like, I just feel like you got to take some of this stuff as a privilege. Like, as an adult now, I used to have Brett Perriman, Hall of Famer for the Detroit Lions, Brett Perriman, watching my film, telling me if I'm doing something right or if I'm doing something wrong. And I used to just be like, man, you know what I mean? Sometimes I might be like, I'm hearing them, but, you know, I ain't hearing them for real, or whatever the case may be. But at the times of meeting with him like 3 times, him and my dad, we all sitting there, I'm like, yo, he right. You know what I mean? I could move faster. I could do this. I could do that. You know, you start to, once you just sink in and you feel, you know that all this is coming from a place of love. Coach Prime, the way he doing stuff, it's all still coming from a place of love. Is really what I'm getting to. Like, he might not be saying stuff the way you might want to receive it at the time, but the message is the message. And it's coming from a place of love. They got to sit down, man to man. They got to have a man to man talk. It's one of them man to man talks now with the offensive line where, look, what you want to do? Like, you figure, I don't know if they freshmen or whatever. I got to go through the list, and I'm gonna see if they freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, what they are. But they look body wise like, you know, young offensive linemen. But what do you want? What you want out of this? Like, why are you playing this game if you gonna play it at this effort? Do you want to be a defensive lineman? Okay, if you want to be a defensive lineman next year, make sure I know that, so you on the defensive side. Let's see what you can do over there. Do you not want to, play this position? Are you just not giving the effort because you don't want to play this position? Do you not feel like I got your back? What is it? Talk man to man. Sit down, have that discussion, hash it out, grow from this. They got to continue to try to grow from this because it's getting ridiculous. Like I said, your son out there getting whacked, you're going to start to take offense to it. Like, bro, this is my son. I'm trusting y'all with my son to make sure he come back in the same way he came into the game. And Coach Prime even said they had to shoot his son up at halftime. He said, man, I probably shouldn't tell y'all that, but y'all know I'm real. Like, they had to shoot the son up with the morphine or whatever just to keep playing. It's hard, man. When you in that position, it's hard. You can try to separate both, but you're going to start to feel disrespected at some point in time. Like, man, y'all just don't even care. And because y'all don't care, I'm going to act like I don't care. You know, like I said, it's just a learning thing. And then Coach Prime, like he said 7 years ago, he was coaching youth football. It's an adaptation to understand how to reach every kid for every position at every level. And then it's just about building that relation to find out what makes them want to play hard. I don't know. I ain't in the room with them. I don't know what can make that offensive line better. Bringing in new offensive linemen might not even solve the issue. It might be a temporary fix, but at the end of the day, you got to build that relation to where they believe. Like he said, I believe. That's the thing. I believe we coming. The offensive linemen, they coming, but do they believe? Something is disconnected somewhere on why them offensive linemen. It's either them, a mixture of the two, or something. And I hope they figure that out because, like I said, I've been enjoying this story for Coach Prime. He reminds me so much of my dad. Again, if y'all know me, y'all know my dad. Y'all know how he is. He's the same way. And I feel the message. You know, I understand everything that's going on. But that's my opinion of everything that's going on. You know, let me know how y'all feel. And I'm out of here. See ya. It's your boy DJ Clinton, the host of the Pass Rush Podcast. Peace.
Up and I shake the room.